What's up? We're back with another episode of Mrradillos World, and I'm here with my guest, Derek Arguello,
Yeah.
Welcome. How you doing, man?
Doing so good, brother. I'm super pumped to be here.
This is exciting. So we have recently met, like this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Not long ago.
So tell me, like, about you.
Okay. So I am, number one, Derek. I'm married. Yeah, I know. So strong. I'm married.
Okay.
I have an amazing wife named Nicole.
Yeah.
2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Just had my second one around 6 weeks ago.
How is that?
Chaotic, man.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as you think.
No?
My first one's still in diapers.
Uh-huh.
So it's like double the diaper.
Sure.
You know, you get
Sure.
double the, you're used to kind of everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like, everything's just times 2. So it's a little bit chaotic, but now that we're getting used to everything, like my oldest son, he didn't know like how to react to a new baby.
Sure.
And was like, I don't like this. And I'm like, I get it, dude. I get it. But you know, we're here now. So we got to figure it out. And so it's been really good, man. We have been blessed beyond all measures. Family's healthy.
Awesome.
And our Nicole and I's relationship, I feel like it's been better than ever before. We've been married for around 7 years now.
Nice.
7 years.
Coming on 8 or
2017. We just got to 7.
Got it. Okay.
So we'll be going to 8 next year, which is really exciting. Getting closer to 10, which is crazy.
Wow.
We've been together for about 10 years,
Okay.
but we dated for about 2 years, right around there.
Sure.
Met for about a year, dated for 2, got married.
Got you.
And
long engagement or short engagement?
Yeah, short. Heck no, bro. I couldn't wait. I said, let's get this thing. She was talking about possibly like a year, and I was like, no.
So
no.
Me and Nat were a year engaged. Well, we've dated for like probably 7 years.
Yeah.
Dated for a year and then engaged for a year.
Yeah.
But it was long.
Yeah.
It was a long time. I don't recommend it.
No, absolutely not. I said, honey, we'll figure out what we got to do. Let's just go to the courthouse, get married. We got to figure it out. We'll get it organized. But yeah, man, 6 months, we got it. Everything organized, everything fit, everything planned, and got married 2017 in Northwest Arkansas, in my hometown.
Nice.
That I grew up in.
Where are you originally from?
So Prairie Grove, Arkansas.
Okay, how far is that from like here in Hot Springs?
3-ish hours.
Okay.
3-ish hours.
So what border is it kind of by? Is it by like Missouri or is it more by Texas? Or by...
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
But so it's really close to Fayetteville.
Okay.
Northwest Arkansas up there. That's where I went to college. That's where Nicole and I met.
Did you go to U of A?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I went for 2 years and dropped out and said, I can't do this stuff anymore, man.
I got you.
I'm gonna be in ministry. And
what were you studying before you dropped out?
Social work.
Oh, okay.
It was crazy.
Okay.
It was crazy. We did kinesiology for a little bit.
Sure.
And then switched to social work, and it just wasn't for me.
Got it.
It wasn't for me.
Did Nicole also like leave for ministry as well?
No. So she graduated. She has her degree in English.
Oh.
So she works for a company called Logic of English, and basically they make curriculum for schools, homeschools.
That's cool.
And so she works on the marketing side. So she's not even actually like an English.
It's so like that.
Yeah.
When you get your degree, it's never like you're never in your field.
Yeah. Which she actually worked for an IT program on campus at the U of A, which kind of got her into website building, into marketing.
That's awesome.
And then being able to say, hey, I'm in what I like, and then being able to use English and mesh it together. I mean, she's doing great. She's killing it.
That's awesome.
She's the best.
That's awesome.
Absolutely the best. So, yeah, so Northwest Arkansas, up there by Fayetteville, is about 15 minutes. I would probably say south of Fayetteville.
Yeah.
But, man, I'm from Northwest Arkansas. That's my home.
Do you love that area up there? Do you ever see yourself like going back to that area?
Right now, I don't know. Right now, I really don't know. I think the biggest thing that Nicole and I have really realized is that we are going to grow where we're planted.
Sure.
And I feel like I hear that all the time. But, I mean, God's put us here for a season. And, we want to really rely on that because the move here from Northwest Arkansas to here, we hated it. We did not like it. But after time, after getting connected, after finding a place, finding people that we love, friendships, man, it just started increasing. Well, we got here in 2018, 19, and then COVID. Wow. So we had 3 years of couldn't really do anything.
That's crazy,
so really 2021, 2022 is when everything really started.
Sure.
And we started being like, hey, we like this place. We can get outside, and do stuff. So it was a whole new world, and it's just been up and up from here.
That's awesome. So I came here for college.
Yeah.
And I left in 2015. I really never thought I would ever be back in Hot Springs. But the Lord does things when the Lord does things.
He does.
Right?
He does.
And we ended up back here, and like honestly, like I'm like I love it. Like I don't know why. Like I was so hesitant to come back. You know what I mean? Okay, so continue. I've been interrupting.
No, you're fine. So been in ministry for. I took over a youth group when I was 18. My youth group that I grew up in. My dad was a church planter, so when I was 8, we planted a church in Northwest Arkansas, and that's what took us there. We were originally in Central Arkansas, in the Benton area.
Got you.
And so when we moved to Northwest Arkansas, we've just been ministry all our lives. So I took over my first quote-unquote ministry when I was 18, and got licensed when I was 19 through the Church of God, and have been licensed ever since.
Nice.
And so from youth pastor to leadership director to executive pastor now. So now my job is just kind of increased over time.
Got you. So tell me what like executive pastor does.
Yeah. So a lot of just the systematic systems, details of how things are ran.
Sure.
When people come to our church, what's the flow process and the step process of getting them to a place where they feel connected and loved?
Yeah.
Getting them into a place where it's like, okay, awesome. You love services. That's awesome. Worship was great and cool. You. But, what I have realized is that you can get people so far and in the door and get them there. But if they have no one that communicates with them, if they have no one that connects with them, then it's easy for them to just be like, well, we're just going to go find somewhere else.
Yeah, that's because we were looking for a lot of churches when we moved here.
Yeah.
And we had the connection with Andrew.
Yeah.
Who's my old youth pastor.
Right.
So that helped, but we visited a lot of churches.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
It is a tough thing to walk into a church cold, not knowing anyone.
Yep.
And trying to figure out how to get plugged in and things of that nature.
Exactly. So I do a lot of that, a lot of just making sure that, hey, do we have these things in play to make sure that people are feeling loved, they're getting connected, they're knowing about our church. Big thing that we like to do is as soon as someone says, hey, I want to get involved or I want to get invested, we have a little class. It's like a City Life 101 for our church. Talk about who we are, what we believe, making sure that we're all on the same, going down the same path and the same river. We're not, something's not trying to go the opposite way.
Sure.
And just make sure that we're all on the same page. And once they do that, they get connected into a group. We have city groups that go on throughout just all year long, from college to student to hiking groups to cooking groups to Bible study groups, game night groups. I mean, we just have all kinds of stuff for people to get somewhere, get connected. Yeah, and once you get connected, then it's like, okay, cool. Hey, you found a place, you have found people you love. Now it's time to serve. Now it's time to get involved and invested into our church, and it's worked. The people that have gotten connected into the church that say, hey, we want to move forward, get them connected into a place where people love them. And I think that's been one of my biggest joys about my job now, is making sure and saying, hey, like, we succeeded because, now someone is walking into the calling that God has given them.
That's awesome.
It's just been really cool. So I do that. I run budgets.
Yeah.
I make sure that our programs side of things is all taken care of. Financially, making sure we're not in the red, making sure that we're not spending money on stupid stuff, which we tend to do sometimes. You got to make some risks every once in a while.
Sure.
And then also, I'm a kind of a number 2 for our pastor. So if pastor needs something, I'm usually the one he goes to and talks to. If, hey, we need to get this done. I'm basically an assistant. I've come to the conclusion that I'm doing that.
The pastor.
Yeah, exactly. So, but other than executive pastor, I am a college pastor. So I take care of our college, which is Silo. Got to represent some hoodies. Silo, our college and young adult ministry. Thank you. And then I'm right now doing youth pastoring as well. So got a lot of hats. Ready to start passing hats. Raising up a generation of young people to serve and hopefully to fill those roles one day. So.
Yeah, and I've seen that I can't remember the student's name, but he's 19, going to be a children's director.
Yes, Drew. That's
excited. Awesome. Like 19, jumping into ministry.
Yep.
I can imagine he was probably in your youth and stuff like that.
Yep,
awesome.
He wasn't really necessarily my student. He was for a year, had a youth pastor change and another youth pastor change. So it hasn't really been for me.
It tends to happen with youth pastors. So.
Adjusts in back and forth, but he's been connected into our church, and we got to pour into him, and hey, he wants to be a part of ministry, and the greatest thing I love about him is that he's pliable, so that he's able to take and say, hey, what did I do? How did this sound good? Was this good? And gets our opinions. With my dad and I, it's kind of crazy to think that I've been in ministry since I was 18.
Sure.
So I'm 28. 29. I just turned 29. Oh gosh, I'm old. Oh no! I just turned 29. So 11. Working on my 11th year in ministry, and then Dad planted a church, of course, when I was 8. So, and he was a youth pastor before that. Mm-hmm. So we're talking, combined almost 40 years of experience.
So a long legacy.
Yeah, exactly. And so to be able to come in and him listen and to see the pliability, man, it's so cool because he's already grown so much.
Yeah, he did great. Like, I was listening to him. He was really funny too.
Yeah,
his ending, like, I'm done. Let's come up here. Like that. I thought that was great. That was great. Like, I remember when I first preached at like in a big service, we call it, right? Like, I was just like that. I was like, all right, I'm done. Yeah, come get the mic.
That's it. We're done. That's all you can do. Yeah. So like just getting to be a part of that. So that's really a lot of my life. I like hobbies. I like sports. Mm-hmm. I like baseball, basketball, football. Just if I can do it, I probably have done it.
Sure.
Love golf. Love pickleball. Love collecting Pokemon cards. So I know we'll be talking a little bit about that, but
getting ahead of our topic.
I know, but yeah, it's a fun. I enjoy life.
That's awesome.
I want to enjoy life to the
fullest. So like, you're really good at connecting.
Thank you.
Because even me just getting there and coming, even though I knew Andrew and stuff, you were quick to like take me to lunch and like talk to me and stuff like that. So I really appreciated that. Did Maddie kind of talk to you about like my Pokemon side?
Yeah.
Okay.
So well, the first time you came, I think I just said hey to you guys the first time you came, and was like, "What's up? Nice to meet you." And then I asked Maddie because I saw that you were talking to Andrew. I said, "Oh, do you guys know each other? Do you and Andrew know each other?" And she was like, yeah. Like he's you would love him. He's a big nerd, just like you. And I was like, yes, but let's go, friends. Yes, I love it. So we as soon as she said that, she was like, I think he collects some type of cards, and I was like, what kind of cards? The good stuff, or all collecting is fun. But,
sure.
But for me, it's specifically Pokemon. But yeah, she was like, likes to do coffee, had a store and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, let's make some connections there because. Even if we didn't, I would definitely still reach out just because, we want to love people. But I was like, oh man, so many things in common. We got to hang out. We got to talk.
100%. So. Yeah. So, okay. So it was really fun. Good times. And I'm really thankful for that. But yes, I'm a nerd as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I was more open in New York than I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I am a nerd. I'm still a nerd.
I just embraced it. I'm like, I'm married. I have kids. Like, no one's gonna shame me for this stuff. Right. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, you can't push me off this ledge. I'm here.
I'm excited to talk about that topic. So, what we're gonna get into today is we're gonna talk about patience. First off, I always like to start with something kind of spiritual.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we're gonna get into hobbies. That's gonna be a fun topic.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna jump into goals.
Yeah.
Life goals, house goals, hobby goals, whatever kind of goals you'd like. And then, I forgot what the last topic was.
Star Wars.
Revisit Star Wars. Because he's been commenting on some of the posts, some hot takes of Star Wars.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's jump into this thing, man.
Let's go.
So let's jump into scripture. You want to share your scriptures first?
You do yours first.
Okay.
And then, because I just have one.
Okay. I just picked a couple.
Yeah.
So first one is Galatians 7 through, I think, about 9, 10, 11. Well, we're going to read. We're going to read. Okay. So be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how a farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and the spring rains. You too be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Don't grumble against one another, brothers and sisters, or you will be judged, and the judge is standing at the door.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to jump into Psalms 37 and 7. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Sorry, that was James. I was reading James instead of Galatians. Okay. Now I'm in Galatians. Okay. That's funny. Have you ever done that?
All the time. Dude. All the time. Oh, it's my ADHD, man. I'll be reading one thing. I'm like, hold on, wait. This doesn't add up. Something's off here all the time.
Oh, so this is a funny story. So I always had to, I don't know how you organize your sermons, but I always had to write everything out I ever said. Because it would help me remember. Yeah. And most of the time I wouldn't read it. I would know it because I wrote it out.
For sure.
So that's kind of how I do it. But at times, I would find myself, I would get lost. And I'd be like, I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Yep.
So we're going to figure out, and then we're going to get back to what we're
You're saying. Going down the line of oh, crap. Yeah.
And then I find that I wouldn't say some of the stuff that I wrote because I was flowing, you know what I mean?
For sure.
In the spirit and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But it's really fun and easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Let me find this last scripture.
Galatians.
My notes, I have it. You know, I'm not even going to put it because I can't find it off the top. Go ahead and go with your scripture.
Okay, so I did James 1:4. It says, so let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. Needing nothing. It's so funny because I feel like the life that I'm living right now, it's just, you have to be patient.
Sure.
You have to, because I think the reality of understanding patience, you understand how selfish you are.
Oh, yeah.
Because, anytime that I find myself being impatient is when I'm choosing my desires and the things that I want. So whenever, especially the world of children, holy smokes, man, not getting to go out and play pickleball with the buddies, at 7:00. I might have to wait until later or not even go, sometimes because, hey, my family needs me, or, my kids need me that night, or, hey, I have extra responsibilities that I have to follow up through because priorities just change. So patience has been so interesting to see a shift. My wife was Nicole was just saying this the other day. She was like, I've noticed that, when I was younger, I used to blow up a lot. Just be honest with you. Yeah. If I didn't like something, I was quick to, give my feedback, to give my thought. And I found myself today even kind of a little bit of a snapback. And I was like, hold on. We're going to have to recover from this one because I said something I shouldn't have said. I brought something back that I shouldn't have brought back up. And so, sitting there and really realizing that, hey, sometimes you have to step back and say, okay, I might want to do this right now, but what's best for my future? What's best for my family? What's best for everything that's around me? And majority of the time, it's waiting.
Yeah.
Figuring things out.
Waiting, man.
Waiting is hard.
Waiting is the hardest. For me, in my relationships, I'm a very patient person.
Yeah.
But for waiting on God to do something or the next season of life, I am not patient. Right? Even with something simple as a job, I am not patient to get to. And the Lord is showing me in this season to wait on Him. And at times I'm what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? What are you trying to show me? Yeah. And most of the time it's just showing me patience.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because God has a plan.
Yeah.
And I forget that a lot. And I want to do what you said. I want to do my own plan. I want to do what my flesh wants to do. I want to succeed before I even put the time and effort into succeeding. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I kind of wrote this down, and I think that we can apply this to anything, but when we lack patience, we lack maturity.
Yeah.
And when we lack patience, we also will lack quality. 100%. So what you're trying to push forward, and maybe it is a dream, maybe it is, a vision, maybe it is something that God's called you to, but if we rush it and do it on our own time, then it won't be the fulfilling qualities or fulfillment of what the Lord has desired for it. So I think that it's just, man, you like really understanding how to sit and wait.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Dude, it's hard.
It is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a world that wants and goes 24/7. We want this, we want that. Yeah. And a big thing that my dad and I were talking about was just like, we're not satisfied.
Yep.
We're not satisfied for where we are or where we're going.
We're not content in life.
Yeah,
we're not
exactly.
Content with just God, like worshiping the creator of the universe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like to think of it like this: is like if God never does another miracle again in our lives, if God, never, heals my kid, or if God never, would I still worship Him?
Yeah.
Would I still be patient enough to say, you know what, I'm satisfied for where I am, and when I can find myself satisfied in my relationship with Jesus, if I can find myself satisfied, just like the scripture said, perfect, exactly how God desired me, then I won't have to want, things out of the realm of what God is. So, if God never does those things again, will I still worship Him? Of course He's going to do those things again.
Yeah.
Of course He's going to be.
Yeah, He's a good Father.
Exactly. He follows His word. And when He says, ask and you shall receive, ask and I will give you an answer. Mm-hmm. He is good like that. But can we just sit kind of in the realm and say, oh, you know what, God? I'm okay to just know and wait.
100%.
I'm okay to know and that you are in control and I have to wait patiently.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I know that I need to wait for God.
Yeah.
But sometimes my flesh doesn't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so I try to do things and I end up failing, right? And I don't realize that heartache that I just got from failing is just simply because I didn't trust God and wait on Him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it created these ripple effects to where now I'm mourning something that I didn't have to mourn previously if I would have just simply waited on God to move. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. When we do things in our own power, we're surely going to fail. Yeah. Because we need God in every aspect of our life.
We are broken individuals.
100%.
We are broken and messed up people. We can look at biblical times. We can look at our times now of people that the Israelites, if they just would have waited on God.
100%.
I mean, if they just would have just been patient and waited, if Abram and Sarah would have just waited. Yeah. Sarai, excuse me. If they just would have waited before their name changed. Yeah. If for everyone watching. Pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. If they just would have been patient, Ishmael would have never happened. 100%. And so here are all of these things out of just not trusting in the Lord. And I think that it comes back to that question. Are we satisfied? Yeah. Are we satisfied with the Lord? I have a story that I'm going to, if it's okay if I tell. So when Brooks, my firstborn, was born and he, kind of 8 weeks in, 9 weeks in, baby, he got really colicky. And so basically he just, if there were certain foods that Nicole ate, got into her milk and, she would feed it to him and he would get upset. So it ended up being dairy. Mm-hmm. So Nicole had some dairy that day. We didn't know it. And I'm telling you, this poor baby, he's just crying and weeping and crying because he's in so much pain that it's just hitting his stomach and he just doesn't know what to do. So he's just screaming and screaming and screaming and for 3 hours. Yeah. 3 hours. And, to really put it in your brain for how long that is, it's a long time, especially you hear your child cry.
Well, dude, today there was a baby that came in my office. Yeah. And it was 20 minutes. Yeah. And the baby was crying and I was like, this is a long time. Yeah. It's a long time. And so, my only thought was, hey, pray. That's what the Lord tells us to do, right? Hey, pray. So we start praying and, laying hands on Brooks and pleading the blood of the Lord over his life. And God heal him. God, this is what you tell us to do. Mm-hmm. Nothing happened. Yeah. He still was crying. He was still screaming. And so the next thing I did, I had to go to Walmart to get medicine because that's the only thing that I could think of doing. Yeah. And when I got in the car, you talk about having a throwdown with the Lord. I was like, God, what are you doing? God, where are you at? God, you said that if we do this is what you were going to give. If you said that if we lay of hands, and all these things and nothing was happening. And I was angry with God. I was frustrated with God. And you talk about the Holy Spirit speaking to you. If you've ever experienced that, if anyone ever watching has experienced that, just that voice that is the Lord. And it was audible to me
But it was so clear. The Lord was like, if I don't heal him, am I still God? And it just, like my brain just broke. If I don't, will you still worship me? If I don't, would you still speak to me like this? If I don't, and I just started, oh man, like, God, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Like, here I am. My prayer for you was just out of need because I wanted right then. Mm-hmm. And here God is saying, I don't need that. I don't need out of I want. I need out of just obedience. Ooh, that's good. And here God is saying, hey, I want you to pray to me. I want you to do those things, but don't always just 100% expect for things to just happen.
Well, I think we especially America, we have this issue with suffering.
Yeah.
Right? We don't suffer well.
Yeah.
We because I think we have so much prosperity in our lives.
Yeah.
And we become kind of spoiled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at times we expect God to be this magician. We expect him to be this vending machine. That I have faith, so you should be moving.
Right.
When in reality, like we need to submit to his will.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the entire point. That's why, like, the Lord's Prayer, right?
Yeah.
Like, do your will, Father.
Yeah.
Not my will, but do your will. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, and at times, I know myself, and even throughout Scripture, if you look at that story of Abraham and Sarah, or Sarah, or Abraham, or whatever you said, Abraham had to wait 25 years for Isaac.
Yeah.
That's a long time for the promised child.
Yeah.
And in our rationale, we're like, okay, 25 years, I understand why, like, maybe he had to make his own move and Sarah was frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, because we try to move without God. Mm-hmm. And then Ishmael is a thorn in the Israelites' flesh till today, right?
Exactly.
And that's what happens when we move without God. That's what happens when we're not patient and trusting.
Exactly. I mean? Exactly. And I think also, too, is like when you are able to be obedient to the Lord and sit in that, your life will change. Your prayer changes. So even in that situation where I once was, God, I need you to heal, I need you to heal, I need you to heal, my prayer changed from, God, it's your will. You are good. You are merciful. Yeah. You are just. You are righteous. I honor you, Father. You are in control 100%. And God, just if, because you're worthy and you're good and you tell us to pray to you, God, have your way. We would love to have a miracle, but if not, you're still God. Yeah. And I love you. So a prayer change from God, I want to God, you are.
I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's a more powerful prayer.
Yeah.
When you're magnifying God.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you want to happen. And he knows your needs, right? He says that. He knows your needs before you ask him.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
He knows everything.
You're asking, but he already knows.
Yeah.
But he's looking for you to just follow him and trust him.
Yeah.
That he is in control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it really shows in what the hardest part is. I don't think you understand that you're impatient or even prideful or even these things without reflection.
Oh, yeah.
Without reflection. And you have to be able to sit there and say, I am immature.
Yeah.
Like, I am immature in the season. And when I first started this job, I came in as the leadership director and getting everything organized and set up as a 22-year-old. And I came in like just a bull in a china shop. Man, we need to change this sucks. This is bad. We need to fix this. We need to fix that. And I look back now and I thought to myself, Derek, like, you are so immature. Mm-hmm. You are so impatient. Like, you didn't get to know the people that were sitting right in front of 100%. You. And I chose my desires and my immaturity and my self-righteousness of it's my time to prove myself. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And then God just...
You know what's interesting with those relationships, you can probably speak to this, but because we were impatient or because we were immature, like, at times we harmed that relationship, right? Yeah. And it made it so we had to work even harder to get that relationship back.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to be that way if we were just patient and use wisdom.
Yep.
But in our youth, most of the time, we don't use wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I would have taken just a year or two to just get to know people, especially going into any job, especially in a ministry job,
sure,
walking into it, just loving people, getting to know them, building relationships, the honor that is given to that, will go greater than anything else. Not going in and changing anything, not going in and trying to implement everything, but just going in and knowing someone's name, knowing their kids, knowing, what's their favorite drink and bringing them a drink. Like the little things, that the way that we love people, it builds and it grows. So where I struggled for 3 years, it took me 3 years of fixing to get where I should have been in 3 years.
100%.
Like, honestly, 100% where I should have been. I like to think of it this way, and I've used this a few times with people that I've talked to, is that you're a 1-year-old. If you're at a job, you are, for your first year, you're a 1-year-old. I don't trust my 1-year-old for nothing.
Sure.
Like, I don't trust my 1-year-old when he walks down the hallway. I'm like, what are you about to do? So I'm there with him. And it's the same thing with ministry, and 100%. Same thing with your job, is that, yes, you have a position. Yes, you have a place, but the people around you need to learn how to trust you.
Sure.
Because our church that has been established for over 60, almost 70 years.
Wow.
I've had people in that church for 60 years.
Wow.
And here comes this new guy in here trying to change everything. And they're like, oh, time out. Yeah. What's going on? Like,
who do you think you are?
Yeah, you're a pastor's kid? What the heck?
I'm sure the PK doesn't help you.
No, it did not. It did not. So out of my impatience and out of my rush and my desire to prove myself, my selfishness, it really hurt me in the long run for ministry.
100%. And I can think back, for me, like, in my career and even in ministry, like, the mindset I had when I went into those things, and it wasn't a patient mindset. It wasn't it was more of like an arrogant, like, I know what I'm doing kind of mindset.
Yeah.
And I can look back and look like, what a dummy. You could be a lot farther now than where you are now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you would have just been humble and patient and followed God and trusted him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we have to learn these lessons.
Exactly.
And God is patient with us.
Yeah.
And he's very merciful and very
absolutely
loving. You know what I mean? So that's what's great about God. And that's why it confuses me when people just leave God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he is so gracious.
Yeah.
And he is so patient with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I not patient with others? Why am I not patient?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't have to forgive me all the time he's had to forgive me.
Yeah.
Right? But he did.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, you could really tie into, it's that idea of, why aren't people, patient?
Yeah.
Why aren't they? Is because when you accept a relationship with Christ, you have to die to yourself.
100%.
And we don't like to do that.
No, we do not.
We do not like to do that. When God says, 100%. Hey, I need you to go talk to this person and tell them what I'm telling you, and we don't, we're not listening and being obedient to the Lord. 100%. And it's even to the place of, like, God's called us to a specific church, or God's called us to be obedient to someone that we might not agree with, but we have to honor those things. And I think that if we can just run it back to the idea of, okay, I need to put my flesh away.
Yeah.
I need to be completely obedient to the Lord.
That's good.
I need to completely just step back and open up the word. What is the Lord saying at this time? How can I grow with him? Be patient. I like to always run things with my wife. If behind it, because the majority of the time the Lord's telling me, he's going to tell my wife, because we are two that come to one. So we serve the same God. He gives us the same thing because we are one. 100%. So especially when it comes to giving, financial giving, there's times that we might give to somebody, or we might, Nicole come up to me and be like, hey, I feel like the Lord's telling us we need to give more than what we normally give. Yeah. And the whole week I've been feeling this. I'm like, man, I don't know. And then here comes Nicole, and I say, okay, what's your number? And we'll write it down and show at the same time. It's the same number. And like, it's waiting on the Lord instead of me just pushing my agenda or pushing what I feel is right, to be able to have somebody else in your life that agrees and that comes together and says, hey, this is of God. I don't know if you've done this before, but I felt like you've heard the voice of the Lord, but you're like, was that my voice?
Yeah.
Or was that the Lord's voice?
That's super easy.
And having that other person, and also reflecting it with the word of God.
Yeah.
You can take those things and say, okay, this is of the Lord. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But when we can get into that place of trust, that place of safety, that place of, I know the Lord's got my back. I don't have to worry. I don't have to rush this thing. I can just be patient and know he's taking care of me. He got me out of my mess when I was young. He can still get me out of the mess
100%,
now. So.
100%. Yeah, trusting God and just being comfortable. Because if you're really seeking God, right, He's going to transform who you are.
Yeah.
And it's going to result in you having to die to yourself.
Yep.
Because you can't go further if you do not die to yourself.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because God wants everything. He doesn't want just a small portion.
Yeah.
He wants your entire being.
Yeah.
And it's hard for us because I am selfish. You know what I mean? And sometimes I don't want to let go of who I am. I don't want to follow His will. But I sit back and realize later on it's like, oh, He's really just trying to help me.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
He's trying to protect me. He's trying to help me avoid things that would make me fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, His way is much better.
Yeah, 100%.
His way is much better.
And we fight it so much for no reason.
And I think it's that free will within us.
Yeah.
And that's love. You know, like if we didn't have that free will and we just had everything already aligned for us, and you know, that wouldn't be love. And so here's a God that cares about us so much. He says, I'm gonna do everything that you ever need.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of you in every single way, shape, form, matter, whatever. I'm gonna take care of you. If you just trust in me and you walk without taking the lead, I'll take care of you.
100%.
I'll take care of you. So that's been something that's really been growing in my heart, and especially with being patient. You'll experience that. For people that are listening that have kids, you understand. You understand dying to yourself.
We're trying to
have
kids, right?
Yeah.
And I know. Even marriage is definitely a patience tester. Right? It helps you to not be as selfish.
Yeah.
And I imagine having children is that time.
It's a big shift. It's a big shift. It's big because you can get to the place where, especially in marriage, that you figure out your schedules, you figure out your things, and you start implementing. Like, I can still be a little, I can still do my things that I want. With kids, it's all out the window. Like you're done. Like, good luck doing the things that you want to do. It's all gone. Kids are well worth it, though. I will say that. Yeah. They're well worth it. It's. Awesome. I'm not here to say that I don't want my life's over.
Even hearing that, I still want that.
Yeah.
Like being a father, I think is an awesome thing, and
so much
being more godly father.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Well, before we switch topics, give me a final word on patience, and then we'll switch to hobbies.
Okay, final word on patience. Let's do this. Maybe ask yourself today, as a young person or an older person that's listening or talking or figuring things out in your life, have you heard from the Lord? Have you really heard from the Lord? Because the Lord speaks.
Yeah.
He speaks.
100%.
And a lot of the times we ignore. Especially when it comes to our lives and it comes to what we want at that moment in time. So if I can encourage anybody, listen to the Lord, really hear what He has to say, apply it to the Word of God, and then you can say, okay, Lord, I trust in you. But if you are skipping this point, if you are going past this, if you're not listening to the Lord, if you're, not examining your Word, if you are not letting that become a part of your heart, then we are missing out on a journey that the Lord is trying to set us on. Be patient and wait on Him, because His message, His desires, His way is so much better. And when we choose our selfishness over what God says, it's sin. Yeah. It's sin. It's okay to be impatient. Like, sometimes I want to get to Chick-fil-A really quick, so I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A. Okay, I'm impatient sometimes. Doesn't mean I'm a bad person, but when my impatientness turns into disobedience, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. So if I can encourage you, be patient, wait on the Lord.
Yeah, I think my final words is just take a breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Like, the world is not going to fall apart in this moment.
Yep.
Trust God.
Yep.
He's faithful.
He's good.
And He's just.
Yeah.
So just wait on Him.
Just wait on it.
Yeah. All right, so hobbies.
Okay.
Let's get into this hobbies. Okay, first question here is how do you balance, like, ministry?
Good question.
That's something I've struggled with when I was running a hobby store. Like, I found that, like, everyone needs the gospel.
Yeah.
You're around people a lot of times that aren't necessarily representing the gospel.
Sure.
It's a different crowd.
Sure.
They need the gospel too. They need people to be in those spaces.
Right.
Right? But I always struggled with that, not being around that good crowd kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't make your hobby your job.
Ooh, that's good.
Big.
Good.
Big.
Yeah.
Hobby is not a place where you can flip money.
100%.
It's not a place where you can make a profit.
Sure.
Hobby needs to be something that you just enjoy,
Yeah.
that you can budget out and you can have fun with.
Sure.
That's what a hobby needs to be.
Okay.
For me, for a long time, it became a business.
Yeah.
And the card collecting, I used to get into golf and I wanted to kind of go pro with it. And, there's a shift when a hobby is no longer a hobby.
Sure.
A hobby will shift into I'm trying to make money off this.
100%.
It's no longer a hobby.
Good.
It's a business.
That's good.
So when you are focusing on trying to find a hobby, something that's fun, something that you enjoy, and I like to think of hobbies too as something you can pass down.
Yeah.
Something you can do with your kids, something that you can do with a brother or a sister or someone in your family. Because hobbies shouldn't just be for you. It should be for the people around you.
Yeah, okay, that's good philosophy.
So, hobbies for me, the way that I really balance that, it has nothing to do with how I make money. Because how I make money is different.
Sure.
It's a whole different world. How I have fun and spend time. Right now, it's late at night. Thank God card shops are open late at night because majority of the day, every once in a while, I'll break off for lunch and I'll go to a card shop. But majority of the shops that I like to go to, it's like 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'll go up there, check out what I need, what I want, do a little bit of collecting, trading, and then get out. And go home.
Sure.
So
okay.
it's not my life. It's not my entirety.
That's a good what is it, boundary?
Yeah.
That's a good boundary to have because when I was running the card shop, that was my life. You know what I mean? Because I was hustling. It's not a fun hustle. You know what I mean? When you're depending on earning your bread.
Yeah.
One thing though that I still struggle with, and maybe because I grew up super conservative, we grew up like holiness.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't allowed to do Pokemon.
Yep.
So how do you balance that? Because that one's tough for me.
Yep. So I was not allowed to do Pokemon either.
Okay.
So growing up, there's of the devil. You weren't doing it.
They're pocket demons.
Pocket demons. I heard it all my life. The way that I really look at things now as an adult, I understand what's the difference between am I worshiping something and is it a hobby? Sure. Is it for fun? Yeah. The Lord wants us to have fun. He says it. Go out in the world and have fun. He literally says it biblically. This is biblical. To go out in the world and have fun. Okay? So we're going to go out in the world. We're going to go have fun.
Sure.
But I have to always check myself, though, because just like a hobby, just like a sport, just like anything that you do, it can turn into something that you worship. Yeah. And so you have to know your limitations and you have to know your differences. And am I, I have an addictive personality. Like I do. And I can
do you think that's all humans? I think all humans have that to an extent.
I think there's people that definitely do have it, but I think there's me. It's at a whole new level that it's like, okay, dude, you need to calm down. So like I have people in my life that keep me in check. And, I sound silly and sounds dumb, but I have a set limit. Like if I break over a limit, okay, we got to stop for a while, because we can't let this rule over our lives.
Sure.
So it's really examining yourself, examining, who you are as an individual and, what is this for you?
Yeah.
Again, it's the same thing with certain shows that I watch. Like this isn't real. Like I know, these TV shows, they're definitely not real. I know like the Pokemon, it's not real. Like it's all fake. It's all made up. Yeah. It's all just imagination. But again, you have to be careful.
Sure.
It can definitely take over your life.
Yeah.
But, for me and in my house, we're going to serve the Lord. And so it's just something that's fun that I like to do and enjoy. And what I really like more than anything is it puts me in an environment that I never thought I would be.
Yeah,
so I reach the gospel.
100%.
Yeah, we reach the gospel now for people that that never thought that they would get to hear or see or, be around the presence of a man of God. Now they are because I'm in that place.
100%.
Because
I think that's something that we as a church have forgotten.
Yeah.
Right. That Jesus was in places where we wouldn't be going today.
Yep.
And he was calling people out of those lives and thoughts. And at times we're so focused in our four walls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we don't tend to get out in the community.
Yep.
And so that's one thing I did love about having the card shop and the hobby is I got to be a light to people that needed God.
Yep.
Everyone needs God, right? Yep. And I got to be myself, right? Have fun still. Yeah. But they knew that they respected me in a sense because there was lines that I wouldn't cross.
Absolutely.
Things I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And it built a kinship with them. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I'm 100% agree. It's growing up of just I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers. I wasn't allowed. Honestly, anything on TV was not allowed. Basically,
yeah. SpongeBob wasn't a thing for me.
I got to do a little bit of SpongeBob.
Okay, a little bit of SpongeBob.
Yeah, I was a little bit older, so after my parents had our second kid, it was everything's going through the roof now. It's fine. Watch whatever you kind of want to watch.
I was really tough. So
I
remember I didn't get to watch or I didn't get to play a video game. My first Call of Duty that I ever got to, I was a junior in high school.
Oh, dude.
That was the first time I ever got to play crazy games or whatever like that. Because my parents were strict. They wouldn't let me do certain things.
Yep.
And I love that now.
Yeah.
But then I was when my mom made me sell all my original Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Now I'm
dang it.
Dude, I had them all. I know what they'd be worth now.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean?
Exactly.
How do you deal with the outside of people because you're in ministry, so you're in public a lot. Yeah. How do you deal with outside people with this hobby? In the sense of how they look at you, how they perceive it.
So people within the church perceiving me?
Yeah.
So I actually isolate them.
Okay.
I really don't
interact with it?
I don't at all. Gotcha. Pokemon, it's its own entity.
Sure.
It's its own, I do it for fun. Mm-hmm. I actually have a social media channel where I make videos and do those things, but I don't promote those on my personal channel. That's something I just don't do.
Sure.
I don't want to cross-pollinate those things. I want them to be separate.
Okay, wait. Hold
on.
Time out. I actually put both your handles on here. Should I remove one of them if you'd like? We can come back and I can edit it out.
No, it's fine. Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. But yeah, so sorry, where was I?
I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. My ADHD brain. I'm on the next day ready.
You isolate. You said you kind of
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
compartmentalized.
Yeah. I knew it until you said
compartmentalized. I can't even say it.
Separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I separate them. And really, I'm the one, that they're going to see on both directions. Mm-hmm. So there's been times where I've been in a card shop and someone will be in the thrift store and be like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" So then I'll tell them and talk to them about it. But it's not something I normally just bring up. It's just something that I want the growth of the channel. I want, the things that I'm doing. I want it to just grow naturally as it goes. And then, as the platform grows. And again, I have no expectation to make money off this. Sure. This is just for fun.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to.
It's this podcast.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. We're having fun. It's something that it's a creative space that I can kind of grow myself because, I'm editing a lot more. I'm doing a lot more things. And
no, you fire reels, bro.
Thank you.
Fire.
Thank you.
You do a really good job on. It was actually how I envisioned doing social media.
Yeah.
I was running the card shop.
Cool.
I just didn't have enough time to devote to it.
Exactly. So it's just a fun thing that we do. But yeah, when it comes to people, I really separate it. But I'm the same person in both sides. So yes, Pokemon is a separate thing. But when people have an opportunity to see Jesus, they're going to see Jesus.
100%.
That's my prayer at least that they see Jesus.
Authenticity in every setting.
Yeah.
The world needs more.
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely.
Okay, so now we're getting nerdy.
Okay.
What is the dream card in Pokemon? If you could get any card right now, what would it be?
I have it.
Okay.
Actually.
You have it. What is it?
So it's there's a newest set that just came out.
Sure.
And it's a Greninja card. It's my favorite Pokemon.
Okay.
And it's $240 right now.
Okay.
I bought it at $200.
Got it.
So it's going up in price. Wow. It was. I wanted to get it $140, and it's still growing, but it's a really cool card. I can show you. I'll show you later. I have everything. I brought my entire collection because the way that I do stuff is I master set things. So Pokemon sets up like different like sets. Just like baseball cards, like each year, 2024, rookie cards, whatever. So
I think cards print too much sets because it like you really get wallet fatigue.
Yeah,
like, you can't a normal person, unless you are balling, you cannot buy every single thing you want to.
No,
and I guess that's their point though, is like you're just gonna keep printing it and buy what you want.
Because they know how they make money.
Yeah,
they know. Again, we're impatient.
Yep.
So we're ready for the next thing. Like, what's next already? Like, I'm already ready for the next thing. Just impatience, and people can make a lot of money off that.
So Greninja. Okay, so when did you actually grow up with? Like, obviously you weren't allowed to watch Pokemon.
Yeah.
But there was some draw there.
Yeah.
What era did you become aware of Pokemon?
College. Okay. Pokemon Go really got me into Pokemon.
I got you.
So of course that was like sophomore year of college. 2016 is when I really started getting to Pokemon Go.
Got it.
And so I started liking the game, and I was like, this is cool. And then I think it was really 2020 during COVID when everything was shut down. I couldn't do anything. 100%. And that's when it went crazy, 100%. 2019, 2020. And so I started looking at stuff of like cards because I'm like, collecting sport. I used to collect sports cards and things like that. So I'm like, this would be cool. And some of the artwork was really just cool in my opinion.
There's some really nice Pokemon.
Yeah, really awesome. But I have my dream card. But if I had to get like any card, like any card, so there is a Gold Star Shiny Rayquaza.
Okay.
And the whole Gold Star set, like you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. One day when I make it big, maybe one day I would love to have that set. Like that would be, like there's a Gold Star Pikachu, Gold Star 100%. Mew. Like, oh dude, they're
fancy.
Oh dude,
I really was trying.
They look so cool.
Like, and I don't know if this will ever happen. Probably not. I wanted to get like the original set.
Yeah, base
set. That was the goal, right? To get the base set, like. Get a Shadowless Charizard, you know what I mean? Just like have it to flex, you know what I mean? Like that would be sick. But like, it's really unrealistic if you really think about it. Unless I just stumble onto a storage unit and they have all the original, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's so hard. And what we have realized now, a lot of people have realized that it's better just to buy the cards individually than actually try to rip and open.
100%.
Because
you spend a lot more money.
You spend a lot more money. A lot more money. So it's been a journey to figure that out, because whenever I first started back in 2020, 2021, again, I was trying to flip it and make money off of it. I had a decent amount of stuff. I probably had like $1,700 worth of cards. Sold it all after my son was born.
Sure.
Because we needed to pay off baby bills.
100%.
So, had to do it. Now, thank God, I'm financially in a different state and place that I was like, you know what? Let's start this up again. Let's collect.
100%.
And instead of selling, I'm going to collect for me.
Yeah.
And do something that I want to do for fun for me. So.
That's a way, I think that's a way better place to be in. Even for me, like there's cards now that I will collect just because I want them. But I'm not crazy with it. Like,
100%.
If I can't afford it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
When I was running the business, like I never got to collect because it was always focused on, okay, we got to hit 30% margins. We got to flip this for this amount. Okay, I got to put it on eBay. Yeah, so it just added more stress to it.
Oh, so much more stress.
And made it not fun. You know what I mean? I mean, but there is some aspect of like business that's fun.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It is a little fun, but like there was more stress to it.
The gamble is a little bit of fun. Within the back minds of like kind of what it really is. It's you're buying shiny cardboard to hopefully make a profit on them. So
right?
Cars, houses, everything.
Anything you're hoping that it appreciates and it was a good investment. Right? Like if I could get a Michael Jordan rookie card,
right,
I would still do that. And hold on to it because I know that thing is going to be worth a whole lot more.
I don't want this, MJ. If you're watching, Michael Jordan, I don't want this. But, once he dies,
Wow.
Through the roof. I'm just be honest. Be honest. Like even Kobe cards, R.I.P. Kobe, but like all his cards, everything
they
increases in value.
They did shoot up.
So, it's kind of find people that are legends, sit on their stuff, and then
so that's
make out.
Thing of aspect that I loved about sports cards is that like, it was like fantasy football.
Yeah.
But it was like you would get a rookie card,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would gamble on whether they would actually pan out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if you got into sports cards with Patrick Mahomes, even though I hate him as
Yeah.
a quarterback, and I hate him.
You hate Kermit? What do you mean?
I hate him so much. I mean, I don't know him personally.
Right.
I don't know, but I hate his, like, sports figure.
Yeah. He's probably a good guy, but, I just hate him.
I just hate him. But if you got his rookie card,
yeah,
like, you never knew that he was going to win 2 Super Bowls, or 3 Super Bowls, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, 3 in a row. 3 in a row. This year it could be 4.
No.
Let's hope not. I'm a Colts fan, so within the realm of maybe if Richardson stays healthy and we actually he got hurt. Other than that,
but I mean, he was turning it up before he got hurt.
He was doing good.
Hopefully he stays healthy.
Please.
So, one thing that, like, with sports cards, I don't know if Pokemon does this, like the streaming and, like, doing breaks.
Yeah,
those are addictive.
Huge. Whatnot, dude.
I spent so much money on Whatnot that I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
like,
there's a guy that that I've been following a little bit from the Pokemon Girl World. Mystic 7 is what his kind of YouTube name was.
I bought from him.
Yeah, and so he does Pokemon cards. They do singles and Mystic rips, dude. And so I started watching. Bought $100
100%
off of cards, and I'm like, I looked at the bank statement, and I was like, oh crap, delete. I just had to delete it, man, because I was like, Nicole said she kept on getting another package and another package and another package. Yep. She's like, I thought you just bought a few, and I was like, I did last week. Like, this might be a little different. So 100%. So again, here's my addictive personality side. I had to be like, okay, like,
but I think that those are created to be that way.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think they're helpful at all. Right. Like, their goal is to drive you to spin.
Yep.
And they're good at it.
Yeah. Really.
Like, they're really good at, like, like, I was trying to do that when I owned the shop.
Yeah.
Again, I just didn't have enough time.
Right.
Right. And, like, I didn't want to keep losing money to start off until you get there good.
Yeah.
But they're so, like, engaging. They're like, they make you want to spin them.
Yeah. And you make good content too. Especially when I was doing live streaming and stuff like that, I would just live stream and I never make content out of it. And so I didn't see any growth. And especially if you want to be on an online world, on an online presence, you have to make content.
Sure.
You have to be able to take something, a live stream or a series of videos or something, make content to draw revenue 100%. Or draw people to your area.
So one of the things that's good now is, I don't know if you use this, like, there's an app that I use called Captions. It's essentially, you just throw in the YouTube link and it'll just cut out shorts. Really? A lot of times they're not my favorite shorts. Like, I would have rather something else, but they kind of help you to kind of create that content.
Now,
you seem to do it the old-fashioned way, though.
Yeah, so I like Premiere.
Yeah.
So Premiere has a caption system in it, so I can cut what I want, edit everything that I want, add my own music, add everything, my voiceover, stuff like that, throw it all together, and then I can select the area, and it'll just build captions for me.
Oh, that's awesome. So I actually use Premiere for this as well.
I can show you.
There we go.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Premiere is, so I used to be Final Cut for a while. Final Cut was through and through. I like Final Cut. This is what I like to do. Made the switch when I bought, like, the big package, $52, because I like Photoshop. I liked Lightroom, and I was like, I should just try Premiere. Just throw it all in one and see what I can get.
They're pretty, like, almost like close to knowing the same thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, a lot of shortcuts work in Premiere as well.
And so what I encourage people is, if whatever platform you use, just figure out your shortcuts and then just go in manually and change all your shortcuts, because they're all the same. Like, I've thought about going to DaVinci because it's free. And you can go in and you can change all your shortcuts to everything that you use in Premiere. You can 100%. Basically switch it all over.
Well, like, I don't use Photoshop. Like, the only thing I got is actually Premiere.
Yeah.
And, like, PDFs, I think. But, like, Canva.
Yeah.
Canva's, like, great
Canva's huge
for like little graphics and stuff.
Yep.
Like, I don't need Photoshop anymore.
Yep. Even iPhones. I mean, from selecting things and creating stickers and using it that way too. So there's so many different things of utility wise for what I use, since I try to post frequently and I try to, again, I'm not trying to get stuff out to make profit, so it's more rushed sometimes. I get to take my time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want to do. no one's going to sit there and be like, you haven't posted in a week. Like, I'll be like, oh, okay. Now, for my business, a little bit different. Sure. Sometimes I need to get more content out. So I'm going to use Canva a lot more. I'm going to use, the things to get something that's good quality that's out there. But when it comes to hobby, I'm just going to have fun.
That makes sense. Okay.
Take my time on it. Yeah, use the good stuff.
You're a practice patient.
Yeah, exactly. Because it takes a lot of patience.
So with Pokemon, like, where do you see, like, obviously you said you're doing this for fun.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, and let's jump into the next topic. Do you have goals for this thing, though?
Yeah, so goal-wise that I would like to have for it is, I haven't told anybody this.
Sure.
But my goal is to...
if you want to.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll talk about it yet, but I'll just tell you, and we can if we want to. But my goal is I really want to... Because I don't want someone to steal this. This is my idea. People are stealing it.
Trademark.
Yeah, trademark. This is me on this day, Tuesday the 9th, 7 nights. But I really want to, if I can get to a point where I have influence, be able to bring creators together, let them master sets, and then auction them off for charity. But cool. Do it like work with partnerships and companies and say, like, you take 10 of the biggest Pokemon YouTubers and say, here's your binder, here's a camera, here's a mic. You have 2 days.
That's cool.
Try to get it as completely set and done. And then whatever you put into it, it's all going to go to charity. I'm putting in the binders, the mics, the cameras to get all this thing figured out and organized. But the entirety is going to go to charity.
That's fine.
And then so do a big auction where we auction off master sets of but some vintage, some newer stuff. Okay. And so just to see what you can do, raise money for a good cause. So that's what I would like to do.
That sounds real fun.
That's been the goal so when I started this whole thing, I was like, I like to master set. Yeah, I like to collect. But like, if somehow you could create influence to help the world and create influence to make a difference, I would love to do that.
That's awesome.
So it would take a lot. Yeah. A whole lot.
You need, because I know there's the cost of mastering a set, right? But if you give them 2 days and they're not like having to master the set, it may not be as expensive.
Yeah. And on the set, right? And the people that I would definitely talk to could financially.
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't be like, hey, Jimmy that has 27 subscribers, I need you to master set this. 100%. Here's a camera. He's just gonna take off with the camera and never come back.
Yeah,
but
sure.
So it would be, that's kind of the goal behind it. But I think like realistic goals, that's the dream. Realistic goals for me basically is to start something for my son, really, and my daughter. If they want to collect or have something fun for them to do, spend time with me, go out and have fun. That's really what I want it to be.
Sure.
Is do that. But also,
question
yeah, go ahead.
That. Are you gonna? So my dad.
Sure.
And he was smart, but sometimes I didn't listen. He collected things.
Yeah.
Right? But he wouldn't let me touch them because he knew like that I was going to ruin them.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't listen and ruined a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So how are you going to handle like that aspect?
When he gets to the right age, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to buy 2. So whatever he wants, you can have one.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with it. If you want to break it, rip it, whatever you want to do. The other one, I'm going to take it, I'm going to put it in a box.
That's smart.
And I'm going to seal it off for one day in the future when you are ready to appreciate what you have. And it'll, you'll be able to then do what you would like to do with it. And go from there. Yeah. So let him have the fun of ripping packs because ripping packs is fun.
Ripping packs is so fun.
Super fun. I don't do anything sealed now because like,
too many?
Yeah, I have a $140 card in just a binder. Sitting binder. The Greninja, I have the Dark Charizard from Rocket, like the hollow. It's a little damaged. It's a binder baby. Yeah. It's got a little crease on the bottom corner, but it's a beautiful binder baby, and it's gonna be with me forever. So I'm not necessarily too worried about that.
Yeah.
But I think especially for generationally, just having something to do with your kids. And so I still want to do sports, still want to do, all those things because I think that it'll help, my kids grow and, with physicality, getting out and about. I want them to push to be winners. I want them to succeed in life.
Yeah.
But I want to also, show them what it looks like to give grace and love and mercy. And it sounds crazy, but with cards, like you're going to have days where it's like, man, I'm getting nothing. I want to quit.
Yeah.
You know, been there, done that. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. But to push through stuff. So little small things. Okay. That would be a goal. And then another goal to master set everything.
Okay.
I want to master every single set.
Speaking of master sets.
Okay.
Do you keep every master set or do you sell them?
No, I keep them.
You keep them. Mm-hmm. So now you just have a bunch of master sets.
Yep.
That you are in your inventory.
Correct. I have one full set done. It's the 151. 151's done.
Those are nice. Those are nice. That was a really nice set.
Yeah, just released
really
last year at the end of 2023. And then I am 2 cards away from Twilight Masquerade being done.
Okay. I heard that one was really nice too.
Really pretty.
Yeah.
Gorgeous set. Love it. Super cool. And then now after this, I've already started a little bit on Rocket.
Sure.
So that's of course one of the big 4, that the original. So I've already started on that one.
Oh, that one's a little bit pricier, I imagine.
Yeah. Definitely a little bit pricier. But again, packs, a single solo pack, a blister, just like a blister or a booster pack, is $250.
100%.
Just one.
Well, even like the original sets, like, dude, I see a
ridiculous.
$500K for like a full, just a sealed box.
Just ridiculous.
100%, yeah.
So I'm really, like within the back of my mind is like, I want to open at least one pack.
Yeah.
I've never opened up vintage before. So, you know, I want to eventually like really like, okay, you know, maybe just invest one pack.
Yeah.
And then just try to collect. Maybe you get lucky on the one pack and try to, you know, see if you can get one weighed where you know it's going to be a hollow and, you know, just kind of have fun with that. So,
dude, I hate my kids though, because I had so many old. I hate my kids though.
Yeah, I had, so when I was young, Dad literally, I remember I had a Ziploc baggie. I had base set Charizard, I had Venusaur, I had Blastoise, I had all of base set in a little Ziploc baggie, and he made me throw them away. Now, here's the reality. I probably would have damaged them.
Yeah.
You know, let's be honest.
You probably wouldn't have had them in prime condition.
Exactly. Maybe if I was an adult when they came out and was like, oh, I could see the investment in this, I'm going to sleeve them, you know, take care of them. Yeah. I was going to absolutely destroy them. So I can't sit back and say, I could have made millions. No, absolutely not.
When I was a kid, me and my cousin, we had a Pokemon business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a good business.
Like under the table.
I was a little thug. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I remember he used to send me underneath the bus.
Yeah.
And I would go through people's backpacks just stealing Pokemon. And then we would be selling them back to them. And I remember, God judged me for getting that. He made me give those away. You know what I mean?
That's so good.
But I remember we were little thugs.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I gotta make a profit somehow. You know, out here living, dude. That's crazy. Oh my gosh, I literally just bought an old collection from someone actually at church, and he was like, "Listen, a lot of those cards are fake. I used to sell them to my friends and." Selling fake Pokemon cards. I was like, dude, you're a horrible human being. They're all thrown away now. They're done. Like, half of all of his collection of all of his boxes were all fake cards.
Really?
So I was like, you dirty dog. Yeah. And then he showed me a few binders, and I was like, oh, this is like an $80 card. Nice. And I pull it out. I'm like, just rip it in half and throw it. I was so angry. I mean, I didn't pay too much for it, but, you know, still. But I was like, golly, that's hilarious.
What are some other goals that you have? I know we from like not just hobby, but what are some other goals?
Just some in general, especially when it comes to my work. I want to financially be a helper to my family.
Sure.
When you work in ministry, you don't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You just don't. So my wife is the breadwinner of our family, and you know, we understand the roles that we're playing right now. Yeah. And we understand that, hey, she's gonna make more money than me right now.
Sure.
That's okay. You know, I definitely, you know, we know our roles as husband and wife. You know, we're nothing there. But
I'm sure that's tough though.
It can be really hard. So as a man of the household, I want to provide for my family. 100%. So I've started a side business doing social media for companies and things like that. So
nice.
We're bringing in good revenue right now. And I'm hoping to get more clients and eventually let that become its own entity and grow. And so my wife and I actually have started a corporation called DNR Guayo Corp, and
Awesome.
Through the corporation, we hope to open up 3 or 4 businesses to bring in revenue into our family, so that we can give out to the community, give to our churches, give to resources, because we've thought about so many times. We have so many college students that are here that majority of the time they don't have a place to stay in Hot Springs, because renting in Hot Springs is really hard.
Sure.
Or even buying, it's hard. So, being able to say, hey, we have rent houses, we have places that we can say, hey, young college person that goes to our church, that needs a place to live, I have something for you.
That's smart.
I want to be able to give, or like my friend the other day was just talking about his debt. Like, he's got it, trying to figure out job stuff, and, he's struggling with debt, didn't ask for money or anything like that. But, I wish that we were financially in the place where we're going to take care of that for you. Because,
that'd be awesome.
So those are some goals that I would like, finances. And then one day I want to be a pastor. I want to be a lead pastor of a church. And it's scary and crazy. And, I don't know if it looks like, hey, one day we'll take over city life. I don't know if that means we'll go out and plant, because the Lord put on my heart when I was 19 to plant. To go and plant churches.
Sure.
And like verbatim wrote it down on a piece of paper. And like the Lord just thing after thing after thing after thing called it into action.
That's awesome.
So I don't know if that means if we take over city life, then we plant out of that, or if Nicole and I just say, hey, we're going. Adios. I don't know. I don't think we're in that place yet. Sure. I need to grow more. Just honestly. Yeah. I still have hiccups. I still have my mistakes.
Sure.
And if I need to get to a place of going into as being, especially a lead pastor, being in ministry, absolutely. We're in pursuit. I make mistakes. I mess up. I'm broken. We all will. And that's not even going to change even when you're a pastor. Yeah. But there are a few things that I need to really get in line and check before we ever say, all right, Lord, where are we going?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Pastoring, man, is so rewarding, but it is hard. It's a stress. It's something. It's a weight.
Yeah.
That I don't think people realize.
Not even just on you as an individual, but on your family.
100%.
Like your family will either break or succeed.
100%.
And so when Nicole and I start talking about goals and dreams and things like that, Hot Springs to come here was really my dream. Yeah. It was really something for me. It wasn't hers. But she gave in because I was persistent. And so. Yes, God has used it, but it really broke us. Yeah. Our first year of marriage sucked. It was not good. Really? It was not good at all. We were crying all the time, mad at each other because, we felt like a lot of the animosity against each other because, you made me come here and, well, you said yes, and those things. So, now when we look at goals for church, it is no longer... Derek, what do you want to do? Nicole, what do you want to do? It's we come together. So we set our goals together.
That's good. For me, like, I was trying to think about goals. Like, one of me and my wife's goals is to build a house.
Yeah.
That'd
be cool.
We want to have kids. We want to have a great, area kind of thing.
Yeah.
Career-wise, I started a business. I may want to do that again. You know what I mean? But I don't have anything concrete anymore.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I'm still trying to figure out what those goals are.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm in a weird, kind of a weird spot, just kind of getting more stability.
Yeah.
That was one thing that we lacked when I was running my business, is we didn't have the stability.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm at a job at Henderson State that it's not the job I want forever.
Right.
But I needed insurance. I needed these things because I needed to give it to my wife.
Yeah, out of the pocket insurance sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. It's horrible.
You don't think about those things when you're young.
Yep.
But as soon as you become an adult, man, insurance is important.
It's very important and it's very expensive.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really
just a little cheaper. Just a little bit. A little bit, man.
But yeah, no, I'm more kind of in the place right now where I'm just trying to do what God wants me to do.
Yeah.
And be stable and just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I haven't quite figured out it'd be awesome to have this channel and this podcast grow.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like where you're at with Pokemon. I'm not doing that for this. This is something that I just enjoy doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And there is some incremental growth and it's been good. I just started it in March and we're at like 27 subscribers.
Yeah,
that's
huge.
Great, right?
Huge.
And it's not amazing, right? It's
Yeah.
not like Mr. Beast or
Sure.
anything, but it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
It needs to be where I am, where God is, my wife is content, and that's kind of where my goal is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's huge. And I think that also too, when it comes to goals, it doesn't necessarily have to be extravagant.
No, it doesn't.
It can just be, I want to always be learning.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a huge goal for me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to always be learning. I never want to get into a place, even if I'm 30 years in ministry, where I'm not having someone pour into me.
100%.
So I'm always thinking about who can pour into me, who can pour into my life, who can pour into my wife's life.
Yeah.
I always want to be a better father. So those are goals that I'm always pushing towards. So, I think in times of reflecting in our lives and saying, man, I just don't have anything stable right now, your soul is stable.
Yeah.
Spiritually,
That's
you're stable.
good.
Your marriage stable. So, you can always reflect back and say, I don't want to be in the same place I was in my marriage when we were at year one, because I want to grow in that and be better. So, I think that we always have those things. And then it's cool to have, sit down and say, okay, I know I'm growing in these things. I'm pursuing that. I have someone that's keeping me accountable. I'm running those things. So now, where do I want to set a big goal or a big dream? What's the dream, that I want? And step back and say, okay, to get to, if the dream's going to take me 5 years, where do I need to be in 1 year to get to that dream? Where do I need to be in 2 years? Where do I need to be 3? So really, you're not just sitting on one dream, you're sitting on 5 different goals and steps that you have to run.
That's good. That's good talk.
Yeah. Hey, it's not mine. I stole it. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I've used all this stuff. I've heard all these things, and so the Lord gives us eyes to plagiarize. So the kids.
Oh God, yeah. They've been ding dong ditching us, and like I haven't gone out there said anything to them yet, but they just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to get a reaction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They probably are like, I hear these guys laughing. Let me go knock on the window. That's awesome.
Gotcha.
Crazy. But
all right, we're back.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead. Okay, give me your hot take on Star Wars.
Okay. Phantom Menace is the best Star Wars movie, hands down.
Okay.
Hands down.
Wow. I'm gonna let you defend why first.
Multiple reasons.
Let's take it outlandish.
Oh no,
it's not.
It's so good. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Number 1, best villain ever.
Best than Darth Vader.
Yes.
You're
Darth.
Wrong.
He's not a villain. He's a good guy. Underneath all that, he's just clouded judgment. He's not necessarily a villain. All right. He did not die a villain's death. All right. He died as a good guy. He's a good guy in my eyes.
Either did Darth Maul.
All right. Technically, I guess. But best villain, best. I think, in my opinion, best fight scene, hands down, when it comes to Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan going through, seeing Qui-Gon Jinn die right there, like, oh, dude, so poetic for him to break out the dual lightsaber. I mean, just hands down clean. It's the first time that we got to see in just Star Wars good fight scenes.
Sure.
Because they've been trash. Dog water. I mean, dog water. Let me chop your hand off. Oh, yes, it was awesome. Yes, it was cool. But in comparison, if we had
on the original.
Oh, hold on. I'm not hating. I'm saying that one is better than the other.
Yeah,
that there's hands down. So okay. So number 1, there you have young Anakin. Really cool. Love seeing his story and how he develops, because we all know how he develops. All right. You get to see Padme young. Super cool. Sure, awesome. Sure. You get the races. Oh, why am I blanking?
Who? Jar Jar?
No, the
pod
races. Thank you. Yeah. Pod races. So cool. Such a interesting thing that you don't see in any other episode.
Sure.
Anything at all. You get Jar Jar Binks, one of the best characters ever. All the haters that hate Jar Jar, he's awesome. He's so cool, and I love it. And okay. So there's a few things that I like about this story, and mainly it's just the when I think about Star Wars, of what I want it to be, not what it is. What I want it to be. This is what I go to. I always go back to episode 1, because you see really cool. I mean, really cool fight scenes. You see more of the world of Star Wars, not just one planet. You see multiple planets. You're not just on the Death Star the whole time. You see a vast majority of everything. You see different languages. You see different experiences underwater, in space. I mean, it was just, in my opinion, just really, really cool as a kid seeing it. Again, like, episode 4 is my second favorite. Okay,
what order did you watch them
in? Original. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
When I was young, gotcha. So my dad's been a big Star Wars fan since he was a kid.
Sure.
Like, huge. Like, whenever.
Does he share this opinion with you?
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely not. No, I'm kind of alone. I'm kind of alone being in the midst of this crazy galaxy. But no. So he's been a big fan. So he's always seen premieres live. So he's never missed one.
Got it.
Ever.
Got it. That's cool.
And so growing up, we would. As soon as I could remember, hey, we're watching Star Wars. Let's go. So we had to get caught up.
This is in the top 6 for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay. What's your favorite? 4?
It's Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Oh, 5.
Yeah. 5. Empire Strikes Back is objectively the best.
Yeah.
Because for one, the dark side is like winning.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah. I love evil. I want there to be suffrage all over the galaxy. I want to see worlds blow up.
Listen, they just wanted peace. They would have just conformed. Peace would have been fine.
We would have never been in this situation ever. No, I really like. I like episode 1.
Okay.
I like episode 1. You see the council a little bit. You get to see different.
Go ahead and rank them. Rank your Star Wars movies.
Okay. 1, 4, 5.
Okay.
2, 6, 3. I don't like 3. I don't like episode 3.
Dude.
Episode 3 is kind of cool, but
bro,
doesn't really.
Okay,
yeah.
so if
I'm weird. I'm weird.
I go 5. I go 3.
Mm-hmm.
I go
1
4.
better be getting closer. Hold on.
I go 1.
Why are we skipping out on 1 like that?
I go 6, and then I go 1 and 2.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, objectively, like, the next 3, the sequel trilogy.
I don't even count those. They're so dog water.
Terrible.
They're so bad.
They're terrible, right?
So
I would say 7 is 7. 8 and then 9.
Because it's literally episode 6. Yeah. 7 is just literally a remake. We're just gonna blow up another Death Star. Like why? I will say this. I like Rogue One better than majority of 7, 8, 9. And I also like Solo. I like Solo a lot better.
I didn't the reason I didn't like Solo is I didn't think I needed it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to understand Solo's backstory. Right? Like, I felt like it was just unnecessary. Yeah. It wasn't a bad movie per se. It just, to me, it's just like, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
I didn't need to know about the parsecs. Like,
yeah.
I was cool with the imagination of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rogue One was really good.
Yeah, Rogue One is really good. I really enjoyed it.
How are you liking the shows?
So, I've been so pushed off from Star Wars since the sequels.
100%.
I haven't watched them.
100%.
I haven't got into it. I'm kind of not done with Star Wars. I know I probably will eventually when Brooks gets older. I definitely see that those will be something he's interested in. But like, I watched a little bit of The Mandalorian. It was good. Yeah. I liked it. I don't think there was anything wrong, but it wasn't like wow factor. Man, this is incredible.
Yeah, Mandalorian was good, but you're right. Like, after the sequel trilogy, it kind of killed Star Wars. It really did. Yeah, because like they just had no plan. They were just picking plot points out of thin air. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, that is the biggest issue with Star Wars is that Disney didn't have a plan.
Yep.
They were just kind of flying by the seat of their pants.
And it's like okay, so here you have episode 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the lightsaber battles. Yeah. So good. And then, no offense to having a lady lead. I mean, I think it's cool. Yeah. But the sword fighting was not there. It's horrible. Well, it's bad. And maybe because, they weren't like Kylo Ren, if he was trained up as a young person, should destroy. Yeah. Should destroy her. 100%. In a heartbeat. She
for one, she didn't receive any training.
Yeah.
And she just knew what to do.
Yeah.
That was irritating.
Okay.
I liked Rey.
You're gonna be mad at me then for what I'm about to say.
I like Rey as a character.
Yeah, I do too. I like her development.
I hated how her story ended. That she was a Palpatine clone, and that it was a Skywalker. I hated that. I thought it was stupid. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
Really
dumb. You said I'm going to get mad.
So if Rey should not have been anywhere developed because she wasn't really trained at all, right? Here comes Luke Skywalker, who really, doesn't have a ton of training. Other than going to the swamp with Yoda.
No, he has a lot more training than Rey, though.
Yeah, yes.
Because he had Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He had him for what? A week and a half, and then he disappeared?
We're fast forwarding. We don't know how long that period went.
It could not have been very long. He's known Ben for, quite a while, but it was never this, we need to sit and train. I think that's why he had to go, train with Yoda. And I do think that he got something special, but
he didn't even have large sword fights or late lightsaber battles in the first, the number 4, right?
Right. Because his dad's a good guy. And so he didn't really pull out his full power. No. Okay. If we look from episode 3 to episode 4 and the decline of the power of Darth Vader. The decline.
What do you mean decline?
Decline. All he did was choke people. That's all he did.
That's all he had to do. He's Darth Vader. Who's going to step to it?
That's all he has. He has no ability to actually do anything good except for,
That's not true, because you can see the lightsaber battles that he did in the prequels. No. So don't try to true Anakin wasn't great at lightsabers.
The only thing that we saw in the prequels was the hallway scene. That was really the only thing that I remember about Darth Vader going in and trying to get to Princess Leia before she sends off the disc. That's the only thing when he's coming in through the door. Yeah.
But that's from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the end of Rogue One.
At the end of Rogue One, yeah.
You don't see necessarily...
Yeah, okay, but so let's take it back.
I'm getting mad.
Let's take it back to the 70s. For one, they didn't have the CGI abilities.
Absolutely.
Right? So they were limited by technology.
Absolutely.
Right? So they weren't able to do all these different flips and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the effects weren't just there.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
They had to create, and they did. They created a lore out of nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why 1 is so good.
And that's why all these others, Star Wars people, that's why we're still having Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's because of those originals.
Yeah. And the prequels, they just destroyed it. The 7, 8, 9. They destroyed every bit of...
It's just dumb.
It's just not good. It's not good movie making. For them to be able to be on the spaceship, on the outside of the spaceship, running around without helmets or floating away, is stupid. Yeah. It's so dumb.
I think mine is more Palpatine's back. Okay, how? Mm-hmm. You don't tell me how. This, I just seen this guy blow up.
Yeah.
In the Death Star. Yeah. And now he's back all of a sudden? Mm-hmm. Dude, you gotta explain it. You can't just be he's back. No, that's ridiculous. Yeah. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. I was not a big fan of the ending. Was not a big fan of it. But it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it made its money. It did what it needed to do.
You're right. So that it's a money-making machine still. Well, okay, this is the question now. Mm-hmm. Is Star Wars dead for you?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
I don't have any desire of watching anything new that comes out.
Sure.
Unless they start implementing, not worrying about who's going to be the lead roles.
Sure.
And they actually put in and invest the high quality. They bring back Jedis. They have to bring back Jedis.
And Sith.
Yes, they have to bring back that.
I don't know why.
Not just 2 characters.
So far away from that. I think it boils down to this moral relativism thing. Mm-hmm. They don't like good versus evil. Yeah. Right? And we need good versus evil to tell a compelling story.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? One of my favorite scenes is honestly in episode 2 when they're in the big arena and all of the Jedi fly in and they just start kicking butt and taking in. Those are the things that I really remember about Star Wars. I'm yes, let's go. The heroes are coming in. That stuff was so awesome. Yeah. And I think if they come back to honestly some of that, I think it will rally people back to to where we are, but I think they wanted to stick so much to 4, 5, and 6, which again were good in the 70s and the 80s, and they were good at that time.
Sure.
But we're not there anymore.
Yeah.
We need if they bring back some type of and I know that they kind of allured to it with the secret society of Jedis or whatever it is, the with the kid, with the broom and
Sure.
they kind of exactly. So I think if they could somehow bring in more of the Jedi world of it, I'd
for
be
me, the way they would get me back, because I have no desire to watch anything at the current moment.
Yeah.
If they started doing like an Old Republic, where it's like old, like way before, like thousands of years before, like I would be in, because I've enjoyed all those games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, the old games on the PCs and stuff. So that story and all that is really rich.
Yeah.
And also if they focus more on Jedi and Sith, because you need it.
Yep.
I don't know why they chose to go the direction they're going, but I mean, that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah. I think that if they could kind of bring it back, if they could bring it back to stuff that's interesting,
a good story.
Yeah,
man.
a good story. It doesn't even have to be about one person in the development of one person. It could be about a society. It could be about a group. It could be about the wholeness of like Jedi and Sith. It
100%.
wasn't just one person. You get to see you had a main run of character development between Obi-Wan, from Anakin, from all of your board between Yoda, and you had all these interests that you could throw into it.
100%.
And then you get in the new stuff, it's just like you have 3 characters. And those are the 3 characters that really matter. And it was just replicas.
Yeah.
They were just replicas.
Sure.
And so, there was no individual push for this person's creating their own story.
To me, like, they need to get away from the timeline.
Yeah.
Like early on. They either need to fast forward like 1,000 years or rewind thousands of years. You know what I mean? Because I think they're not good at continuing the story that George Lucas had. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And
Disney's hosted it.
That's fine. Disney's not great at George Lucas, even though they had all of his potential scripts for 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever. They decided to go their own way. But if you want to create your own thing, like, I think I would be more into it.
Yep.
Because at that point, you're not connected to anything, right? If you want to rehash and reboot 1,000 years in the future, Jedi is no longer, there's no more Sith, and now they're discovering Sith and Jedi, like, that's a great movie, right? And you can really follow that, and it wouldn't be a ripoff of what you currently have. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All right,
Absolutely.
final words on the Star Wars. What do you feel? What do you want?
To be better. To be better. To sit down with my child and be like, yeah, you're going to love this. Yeah. Which I think he will, because, I don't think that he didn't grow up with the sense of desire that we did as kids. But, advance. Let's do something new.
Yeah.
Let's you have such a good opportunity to make a good movie.
100%.
Star Wars it's literally gold. Like it's gold, and yet I just don't go political. Don't do just go a good movie.
Yeah,
a good solid movie about war.
Focus on entertainment.
Yeah, entertain me.
Give me a good Star Wars.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely,
and I will be into it.
Yep,
right.
Absolutely. That's what I want. I want to see some good lightsaber fights.
100%.
Everyone at Disney, because I know you're listening. I want to see
good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to see good fighting scenes. Good fighting scenes, please, man. Please, get some acrobatic guys in there and ladies in there that could really fight well. That would be sick.
I just want good lore.
too.
I want them to really have a story.
Yeah.
And not just garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want them to actually spend time on something and not worry about if they check boxes in the sense of DEI or whatever. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I want them to just focus on making magic.
Yeah.
Because that's what Star Wars was. It was magic.
Yeah.
It took you to a place that you weren't there.
Another world.
Yeah, it was in the same place. It was great.
Yeah.
The world is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is I'll ask you a question.
Good.
Because, you've been asking me questions. What is your biggest what's the word? Rumor, or your biggest thing about Star Wars that you're like could be true? What am I thinking? What are the words?
Like, are you talking about stories that like?
Yeah. I tell my brain it's on the tip of my tongue.
No, go ahead. This is great content, right?
I know. Sorry, hold on. Let me think. When something could be true, but there's no proof of it, like why am I blanking?
Rumor would be it, right?
Yeah, but there's a word for it. It's like when the government does things.
Oh, conspiracy.
Yes, thank you. Conspiracy. What is your biggest conspiracy theory about Star Wars? Like that you've heard, you're like, holy crap, that could be true. You know, that'd be like, what is your biggest conspiracy theory that you're like, I'm kind of in on this?
Like positive or negative?
Either one.
Okay, so my conspiracy theory, I guess, would probably be negative. And I think it's just that Star Wars, the people that were running Star Wars, thought that they could have the boy market, right, and never lose it, and yet get the girl market as well.
Yeah.
And have both markets.
Yeah.
So they wanted their cake, and they wanted to eat it too. Yeah. But what they forgot is when they started pushing more towards girls, they didn't realize that boys are different than girls. Yeah. And aren't going to like what you're pushing. Yeah. That's my biggest conspiracy. As far as positive, I'm hoping Elon Musk buys it. That'd be cool. Like, or someone else buys. I'd love for George Lucas to be like, give me Star Wars. Man. Yeah, absolutely. Like, that'd be sick. What about within the lore? Within the lore of Star Wars. Like, what's my favorite story? What's your favorite conspiracy of like things that you've heard about like a character that like someone's like, like my favorite one, let me give you for instance. Okay. My favorite one that I think is so funny is that Jar Jar Binks is really a Sith Lord. Oh, I got you. Yeah, you know, like something that's so outlandish that you're like. I actually like that one. Yeah, I think that would be hilarious. So he's just, you know, over here just. I guess one that I kind of like, but I don't think it's accurate. Like, but it'd be cool if it was. Is Darth Plagueis. Oh yeah. Remember it? Darth Plagueis has a good book. Yeah. It's Darth Plagueis. It's a great thing. Yeah. But he kind of figured out how to essentially cast himself onto Palpatine. Yeah. So it's really been Plagueis the entire time, not necessarily Palpatine. Yeah, like how, like the whole story, the whole like Darth Maul situation where you're like he's alive this whole time, like you know all of these things. Like I love stuff like that. I think it's super fun. But yeah, the whole Jar Jar thing. Oh, Jar Jar being hilarious. That would be so good. Just so good. In episode 10, he just walks out and just kills everybody. That'd be so good. That'd be hilarious. Bro, thanks for coming on. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And it was super fun, and I love what you're doing, man. It's been a blast, and if you ever want me back, I'll come back. Yeah, I live 10 minutes down the road. Where do you live? Off Central. Off Central. Oh, okay. Yeah, behind Walmart. Got it. I got it. Yeah, no, man. Like, it's been fun, and I'm definitely going to have you on again. It's fun to nerd out, bro. Yeah. Nerds. This has been Mrradillos World.